Hello Pioneers, today is Wednesday, November 19th. My name is Maddie Patton.
And my name is Haley Bright. Welcome back to the press.
We begin with an update on the recent vote in Congress, if the Epstein files should be released.
The files were first introduced in the House of Representatives on July 15, 2025. Both Democrats and Republicans have been urging to release the files. Here's Allie with more information. Allie?
Thanks, guys. Republicans in the House could be on track today to approve the release of the Epstein files. With President Trump arguing lawmakers in his own country to vote the release files relating to the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Trump wrote on Sunday night that Republicans in the House of Representatives should do so because we have nothing to hide. It is a striking reversal for Trump after weeks of saying the clamor for a vote on the release was a Democratic-driven distraction. There has been a slow drip feed of documents concerning the disgraced financier by House Democrats, some of which reference Trump, who has always denied any link to Epstein's sex abuse and trafficking. As recently as last week, White House officials met with Rep. Lauren Boebert, wrote R. Colo about her support for releasing the files, but her position was unchanged after the meeting.
Thanks, Allie. Now to more major political news. The government shutdown has ended. On day 43 of the shutdown, approved a new funding bill with a vote of 222 to 209. 6 Democrats joined Republicans to vote yes. The package passed the Senate 2 days earlier by a vote of 60-40 after 7 Democrats and 1 independent senator sided with Republicans to approve it. But it may still take a few days or even weeks to fully reopen the government and restart some vital programs.
The 328-page bill extends money to most federal agencies until the 30th of January. It provides funding for SNAP food aid, as well as the Department of Agriculture, Congress, and Veteran Affairs until September of next year. It guarantees that all federal workers will receive back pay and reverses the shutdown-related layoffs of thousands of federal workers. The bill does not explicitly include what Democrats most wanted in this government fight, a guaranteed extension of expiring health insurance subsidies that affect around 24 million Americans. Instead of including the extension in the continuing resolution bill itself, senators made a deal to hold another vote on tax credits at the end of the second week in December. Healthcare costs are poised to skyrocket for lower-income Americans if subsidies are not reviewed. Now, I take a look into the recent flight reductions.
The federal government shutdown has officially ended, and the FAA is now working to bring back the nation's air travel system back to normal after weeks of flight reductions. During the shutdown, air traffic controller staffing fell to unsafe levels, forcing the FAA to issue an emergency order that cuts flights at 40 major U.S. airports. Those cuts started at 4% and were later held at about 6%, as fatigue reports and staffing shortages made it impossible to safely manage full traffic volumes. With the shutdown now resolved, the FAA has lifted the flight cut order, effective early Monday morning, allowing airlines to restore their normal schedules. Major hubs like Atlanta, Chicago O'Hare, Los Angeles, Newark, and Miami are already beginning to ramp back up, but officials say the system won't fully return to full strength instantly. Airlines are still working through backlogs from earlier cancellations and delays, and controllers are recovering from weeks of understaffing and paused training. The Department of Transportation says safety remains the top priority, and the FAA will continue closely monitoring controller fatigue and airport traffic data before declaring the system fully stabilized.
That's all for me. Now, back to the desk.
Hey Pioneers, today we're going to be reflecting on the 2024 election.
As just a general rule now, every election is going to have some degree of people learning information from social media, and whether that's accurate information or not, I think people will take that into consideration when voting. So I think social media is something that will just be something we all have to learn to navigate throughout the political process.
Well, I'd say social media is probably the most popular form of media right now, so I'm sure it had a big impact on the election process. It's probably where most people got their information and probably what influenced most people to vote one way or the other.
I think that it just really pays to do research, whatever your political position is, that we're seeking out sources that are accurate, that help us, or inform our big decisions that we have to make when we're picking candidates.
I think if you found yourself scrambling to get up to date on the issues or who you were going to support and why you were going to support them, then maybe for the next election cycle you get prepared earlier. So you start doing your research earlier, you follow the different news cycles throughout the years rather than just in the election year, so you're more prepared when time comes.
That's all I've got, Pioneers. Now back to the desk.
Meanwhile, President Trump is set to meet with Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman on Tuesday, with the leaders expected to discuss the deepening of defense, trade and technology ties, as well as cooperation in the fields of artificial intelligence, security, and nuclear energy. The trip follows Trump's visit to Saudi Arabia in May, in which the kingdom made a $600 billion trade and investment commitment. The U.S.-Saudi Investment Forum scheduled today will be an opportunity to seal more economic deals between the two countries. That's all for today, Pioneers. Make sure to stay informed throughout the week. For the press, I'm Maddie Patton.
And I'm Haley Bright. Have a great rest of your week.